want to talk about networking, kind of for a couple of reasons. I'm going to start with a very short story. I was at a conference in San Francisco quite a few years ago, at least 5 years ago. And I bumped into somebody that I knew, and there was a young gentleman he was talking to at that stage. And I sort of said hello to the person that I knew, and we had a bit of a conversation. And the young gentleman just happily waited and listened to us both. Occasionally would make a comment. And then after we'd been talking, not for very long, we'd only been talking sort of maybe 10 minutes, the young gentleman said, do you mind if I ask a question? And we're like, yeah, sure, whatever you like. And he said, look, this is the first time I've come to a conference, and I've heard that networking is very, very important, but I don't know really what networking is or how I'm supposed to do it. Like, could you two please tell me what networking is and how do I do it? And we both sort of smiled, and I looked at him and said, you do realize that that's actually what you've been doing for the last 10, 15 minutes? And he said, what, we've just been talking? And I'm like, yes, exactly. And I think this is part of it. I think people perceive networking as something more than it is. And I think sometimes that can lead to problems. I think some people assume that networking is specifically talking to somebody to find a client or to get work. And in my experience, it's actually almost the complete opposite of that. I have gotten work by going to conferences, but it is almost never talking to them about work, not directly. And it is never ever asking them, do you need an artist? Do you need a photographer? Do you need a composer? That is almost always going to end up the wrong way. So don't talk at other people and tell them what you do and what you want to do so much. I think often what is better is to listen to other people, have a conversation, find out what they're doing, what they're working on, what their project is, what their skill set is. Because what you may find is that they have a need for something that you can help them with. And then if you listen to them, there's a fairly good chance that after they've talked about themselves for a little while, they will quite probably then say, oh, and what is it that you do? Because when they ask you that question, they're more likely to be paying attention. Whereas if you just approach someone and go, blah, 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 I do this, blah, 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 I'm all that, blah, 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 I'm great, they might not even be listening. Allow the conversation to come around to where they say, yes, I'm working on this project. We've been working on this project for a while. It's coming along really well. You know, one of the problems is that we need an artist. Now, here's the thing. The best possible situation is if they say that and you're not an artist, believe it or not. Because then what that allows you to do, if you know an artist, is to actually say, oh, well, actually, I know somebody who's an artist and they're really, really good, and I can put you in touch with them. Because now what's happened is you have helped this person out, and you've helped this person out without trying to actually benefit from anything yourself. Over the years, I think I've gotten more jobs from other audio people saying, hi, somebody was looking for an audio person, I'm not available at the moment, are you available? And I've done the same thing myself when I've been too busy and I've passed audio work on to other people that I know and trust. And there comes the second part of it. Networking is about you getting to know people and people getting to know you, because people want to work with people that they know and trust. You are very unlikely to get a job because you've bumped into somebody at a conference and you tell them that you're a photographer and they need a photographer and you're going to get a job out of that. You're more likely to get a job because you bump into somebody at a conference, you talk about stuff, you find that you're actually got things in common, and 2 or 3 years down the track, that person might remember that you're a photographer or a composer, and somebody else that they know needs a photographer or a composer, and they might recommend you. Networking very seldom gets you jobs quickly. The creative industry is something that you need to be in for the long game. You need to be patient, you need to be prepared to spend the time and invest the time in networking for the future. You learn what somebody else does, and when you know 20 people and all of a sudden one person needs creative skill X, you can put them in touch with somebody else that you know and trust, which means you're helping out your friends and colleagues, and generally what goes around comes around. I will say again, I have managed to get quite a lot of work out of people when I wasn't expecting it, and I knew those people from years ago, and they've decided, you know what, I remember Stefan was really good at doing X or Y, and you know, I've seen him do videos talking about X or Y, which reminded me that I know Stefan and that he does X or Y, and you know what, maybe I should contact him because I need somebody who can do X or Y. And in some cases, I've heard back from people half a decade later. So networking is not trying to get work. Networking is getting to know people, and networking is often building up a collection of people so that you've got this network of skills amongst the people that you know, and so that you can help connect people within the network. I know somebody that needs a photographer, I'll connect them with that person. I know somebody who needs a graphic artist, I'll connect them with that person. I know somebody who needs a dance choreographer, I'll connect them with that person. Well, actually, I don't know a dance choreographer, but the photographer I know, I think he knows a dance choreographer. I will maybe talk to them through that network, which means I'll expand my network. Networks take time to establish. You need to get to know people so that you can trust them. The last thing you want to do is suggest somebody to a potential client who you don't know and who isn't reliable and trustworthy. Because if you recommend somebody and they turn out to be not very good, then you've not done anybody any favors. Now, one thing I want to clarify on this, because a lot of people, are worried about things like nepotism. Nepotism is problematic when you give a job to somebody that you know or you're related to just because you know them or you're related to them, even if you don't think they're actually very good for the job. That's a problem. But in most cases, people want to work with people that they know and trust. I don't think that that's inherently a problem, because if they know somebody who they can rely upon to do a good job and they go straight to that person, that's being efficient. It means that they are potentially getting the best results for their employer or their client. So, networks. Work on your network. Expand your network. Cross-link elements of your network. Make your network stronger. And be patient with your network. It will take time before it's something that will be beneficial to you. It may well be beneficial to other people long before it's beneficial to you. That's just the nature of building a network.